Okay. I am making an update to my Rose Dragon deck profile. Mainly just because I have a playset of the new-ish. What was it? Where is it? Princess Draconea the Thirsting Tree. And I really like how the deck works with that card. However, there are 3 extra spots in this deck, so when I get to those, I'll say what it is, and I'm pretty sure they'll be the last 3 cards of the deck. But starting off with the monsters, I play 1 copy of Glow Up Bulb. Glow Up Bulb has the once per duel effect of if it's in the graveyard, summon top card of your deck to the grave, and then special summon it. Next, I play 3 copies of Princess Draconea the Thirsting Tree. This card has the effect of you can send a level 4 lower plant from your deck to the graveyard, except for another copy of itself. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it becomes a Scent Monster's level. And then you can banish a plant monster and this card from your graveyard, special summon a dragon monster from your hand or graveyard. And you can only use each of the effects of Princess Draconea the Thirsting Tree once per turn. Or my bad, you can only activate either of the effects. Actually, I apologize, I misread that. It's been a while since I last read this card. That effect was you can only use each of the effects once per turn, but if you use either effect, then you cannot special summon monsters with card effects. Or you cannot special summon monsters except for dragons and plant monsters. I apologize for that taking a while. But that lock is perfectly fine for this deck, as every monster you summon is either, with an exception to 1, meaning the next card, with an exception to 1 monster in the deck, everything in this deck is plant and dragons. So that lock doesn't really matter very much. Next, I play 2 copies of Twilight Rose Black Knight. Twilight Rose Black Knight has the effect of while you control a synchro monster, your plant monsters gain 1000 attack. And then each of the following effects of Black Rose or Twilight Rose Knight. I got the name wrong, but oh well. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it's normal or special summoned, then you can special summon a Black Rose Dragon or level 4 or lower plant monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. And then you can target one other plant monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1. I really like this card, and I know most people only play 1 copy of it, but I play 2 because I see it a lot in my opening hand when it's at 1, and when it's at 2, I never see my opening hand, which is weird. Next, I play 3 copies of Red Rose Dragon. Red Rose Dragon has the effect of if it's sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can summon a Rose Dragon from your hand or deck, except for another copy of itself. Then, if this card was sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, then you can add a Frozen Rose or a Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. And you can only use each of the effects once per turn. Next, I play 3 copies of Rose Princess. Rose Princess has the effect you can discard it to add 1 copy of White Rose Cloister from your deck to your hand. And then it has another effect where if only your opponent controls monsters, you can special summon from your hand. And then if summoned that way, it's treated as a tuner. And you can only use the effect of Rose Princess once per turn. The other reason I like this card in the deck is because it's a level 3 non-tuner. And so you can use it with a level 3 tuner in order to make Queen of Thorns. Next, I play 3 copies of Roxrose Dragon. Roxrose Dragon has the effect, if it's normal or special summon, you can add a card that mentions Black Rose Dragon from your deck to your hand, except for another copy of itself. And most cards in the graveyard, if the face-up Rose Dragon monster or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can add this card to your hand, and you can use each effect once per turn. Next, I play 1 copy of Cyclos, the Circular Sprite. Cyclos has the effect that if this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard a card to then add an insect or plant tuner from your deck to your hand, except for another copy of itself. If an insect or plant synchro monster is special summoned while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, then you can special summon this card but banish it when we lose the field. You can use each effect of Cyclos once per turn. And the monster Cyclos usually will add is the one non-insect or the one non-plant or dragon is an insect. Fariant, the Circular Sorcerer, from your deck to your hand. With its effect, and it has the effect of if an insect or plant monster is in either graveyard, then you special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon once per turn this way, and then if this card you control be used as synchro material for an insect or a plant monster, you can use it as a non-tuner. So at the very least, it makes Cyclos a free level 7 synchro. As level 7 is the easiest synchro level for this deck to make. Next, I play 3 copies of Vengeful Witch. Vengeful Witch has the effect if you control a Black Rose Dragon. If you control a Black Rose Dragon, a monster that mentions it, or a plant synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as single material on the field, you can discard 1 card, special summon 1 plant monster from your deck with 1500 or less defense. And then you can't summon the react check for the rest of the turn except for synchro monsters. You will use each effect of Vengeful Witch once per turn. Next, I play 3 copies of White Rose Dragon. White Rose Dragon has 2 effects. I'm just gonna start over. It has the effect that when it's normal summon, you can special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except for another copy of itself. And then each of the following effects can only be activated once per turn. Or if you control a Dragon Tuner or a Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, then you can send 1 level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to your graveyard. Level 4 or higher, not lower. I started to say lower and I realized no, it's higher. Next, I play 1 copy of Stay Sailor Romarin. Romarin has the effect of you can target a face-up monster you control, send 1 other plant monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, the next time that target monster will be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it's not. But the main thing it's in here for is its effect of when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send level 5 or higher plant monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Next, I play 3 copies of Supay Duskwalker. Supay Duskwalker lets you discard cards, you discard a card to then special summon itself and 1 copy of Supay from your deck, and then you can't summon for the rest of it. You cannot summon. Let's see, what was it? When you hit a deck, you cannot summon from the extra deck for the rest of the. During the turn, you activate this effect except for synchro monsters, which is fine because the entire extra deck is synchro monsters. You can only use that effect to Supay Duskwalker once per turn. And then Supay is just in here as the level 1 tuner that Supay Duskwalker summons. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that doesn't matter because it's usually being sent to the graveyard by synchro material. For these spell cards, I play 1 copy of Called by the Grave. This is just to stop hand traps or other cards that would stop your turn, like Droll Lockbird, Mulch Armies, anything like that. Next, I play 1 copy of Foolish Burial, just because there are a lot of monsters in this deck that like to be in the graveyard, namely Glow Up Bulb, Cyclos, and remember there are a few others, I just can't remember them off the top of my head. Next, I play 1 copy of White Rose Cloister. White Rose Cloister has the effect if you control no monsters, you can summon a Rose Dragon monster or a plant monster from your hand. And then you can only use that effect once per turn. And during your draw phase, before you draw, you can declare 1 card type, monster, spell, trap. Reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's the declared type, then you apply the following effect for the rest of the turn. Where your level 7 or higher synchro monsters you control gain 1000 attack. But the main reason it's in here is just because it can be an extender or start. It's a starter extender as it can summon Rocks Rose from your hand without having to commit your normal summon. Next, I play 1 copy of Frozen Rose. Frozen Rose lets you send a face-up monster you control to the graveyard to apply 1 of the 2 effects depending on what you send. If you send a plant, then during the end phase of the turn you can draw 2 cards and discard 1. And if it's a non-plant, then you can add a level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to your hand. Next, I play 2 copies of Basil Rose Shoot. Basil Rose Shoot has the effect where you can special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Or if this set card is destroyed you can target 1 of your Black Rose Dragon or a monster that mentions it that's in your graveyard, banish or graveyard, and special summon it. You can only use each effect of Basil Rose Shoot once per turn. Next, I play 3 copies of Black Rose Garden. Black Rose Garden has the effect of when it's activated, you can add a Rose Dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. All face-up monsters on the field become plant monsters. If this card is destroyed, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each plant monster on your field and your graveyard. And then if it was destroyed by Black Rose Dragon, inflict additional 2,400 points of damage. And then, let's see, make sure it's more than that. Okay, you can only use each effect of Black Rose Garden once per turn. You can only activate 1 Black Rose Garden per turn. And then lastly, for the 3 extra spots, I just slapped in 3 copies of Salesman. Realistically, there should be something like Moltrami Fualos or Ash Blossom to negate Moltramis. But for now, I figure Salesman works because if there's a hand trap that your hand just loses to, you can use Salesman, make it so that for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards with that same card's name for the rest of the turn. Make sure I'm getting that right. Declare card name for the turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with cards with the same original names. Declare card. Okay. And then basically you declare card names on most cases be something like Moltrani Fualos. It'll make it so that your opponent can't use Fualos against you this turn, but then you can't use Moltrami Fualos for the rest of the duel. Although ordinarily it would be used for like Ash Blossom, what was it? Droll and Lockbird, Harmonia Hydraulis, or whatever the Cool Tune RS name is. But like I said, though, this is just a current filler card for now. Eventually I'll figure out what I want the last 3 cards to be, and that'll replace this. If not, just keep this in. But that's it for the main deck. The main deck was 40 cards, I believe. Yes, it's 40 cards. Moving on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, I play 1 copy of Lycra's Lily Reaper. Lily Reaper is only in here for its graveyard effect, which is... where is it? If your opponent takes effect damage while this card is in the graveyard, then you can banish this card to send 1 monster from the field to the graveyard with attack less than or equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's life points. Garden Rose Maiden is also in here only for the graveyard effect, where you can banish it to then be able to take... You banish it from your graveyard, target a Rose Dragon or a Dragon Synchro that's in your graveyard, and special summon it. Next, I play 2 copies of Rage Rose Witch. Rage Rose Witch has the effect that your plant monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Rage Rose Witch once per turn. Where, if this card is synchro summoned, then you can send a plant monster from, or up to 1 plant monster each from deck and extra deck to the graveyard. However, you're locked into synchros for the rest of the turn. Yeah, lets you send up to 1 each from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard, but you can't summon it except for synchros for the rest of the turn. And where is it? And then its last effect is a graveyard effect, where if a card or cards on the field is destroyed by a card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, then you can special summon this card. Next, I play 1 copy of Queen of Thorns. Queen of Thorns has the effect where if each player must pay 1,000 life points to summon non-plant monsters from the hand, whether it be normal or special summoned. So with this deck, it'd make it so that if you want to normal summon Rockstros, you have to pay 1,000 life points first. But against most decks, like trying to remember a deck that summons from the hand a lot, like Red Dragon Archchain, for example. Each summon from the hand would require 1,000 life points to summon first. Or 1,000 life points to be paid first. Next, I play 1 copy Perialis Empress of Blossoms. This card gains 400 attack for each plant monster you control, except for itself. And then during the main phase, you can special summon 1 level 5 or higher plant monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, except for another copy of itself. And you can only use that effect of Perialis Empress of Blossoms once per turn. And the only reason this card is in here is because making level 7 synchros is really easy, and you can use it to bring back Queen of Thorns, Rage Rose Witch, any of the next card, which is 3 copies of Bramble Rose Dragon. And then that's the last of the plant synchros in this deck. Where Bramble Rose has the effect where each time your opponent activates a monster effect, your opponent will take 600 points of damage, and then all monsters your opponent controls lose 600 attack points. And then during your opponent, or I think it's during the opponent's turn, then during the main phase as a quick effect, you contribute this card to special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck, treating it as a synchro summon. And then it has a graveyard effect, you can banish it from the graveyard, especially on a level 4 or lower plant tuner from your graveyard. Next, I play 3 copies of Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon has the effect of when this card is synchro summoned, meaning it being to use this effect, it being synchro summoned must be the final thing, because of the if versus when, where when can miss timing, if doesn't. If I'm remembering that correctly, so. But when Black Rose Dragon synchro summon, you can activate its effect to destroy all cards on the field. Black Rose Dragon also has a once per turn effect that rarely ever gets to come up, which is it can banish a plant monster from your graveyard, target a defense monster your opponent controls, and change that monster to attack mode, and its attack points become 0. Next, I play 1 copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This card is just in here because summoning level 1 tuners after making a level 8 synchro isn't such a bad idea. And also, Crystal Wing can be brought back by Garden Rose Maiden. Just one thing I'd like to point out. But Crystal Wing has the effect where if it battles a level 5 or higher monster, it gains, during the damage calculation only... Oh, whoops, didn't realize I was moving the camera by accident. But during the damage calculation only, Crystal Wing can gain attack points equal to that monster's attack. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect, Crystal Wing can negate its effect, destroy it, and until the end of the turn, Crystal Wing will gain attack equal to that destroyed monster's attack. Next, I play 1 copy of Arms of Genex Return 0. This card is really only in here as it is when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a monster from your graveyard with the same attribute as that monster to negate the effect, and I believe it negates and destroys. Let's see. Where is it? Banish monster from your graveyard, same attribute, negate activation. Okay, it negates the activation of that monster effect and then destroys it. And then if it is destroyed, you can target up to 6 of your... Okay, never mind. That's the only thing this card does in the deck. As its other effect, tries to target banished Genex monsters, and it's the only Genex in this deck. But if you don't want to play Arms of Genex Return 0, you can just replace it with a copy of... What was it? F.A. Dawn Dragster for the Spell Trap Negation effect. And then the final card to play in the deck is 1 copy of Ruddy Rose Dragon. Ruddy Rose Dragon has the effect where if this card is synchro summoned, you can banish all cards from the graveyard. And then if it was synchro summoned using a Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster's material, then you can destroy all other cards on the field. And when your opponent activates a card or effect that would... When your opponent activates a card effect that will destroy a card on the field, or would destroy a card or cards, then its quick effect, you can contribute this card and the activation. Then special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. Yeah. I apologize that took a while, but that is it for my Rose Dragon deck profile. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, decks like to see me in the future, or decks like to see face each other, feel free to comment down below. I always read the comments, and if you're still here, thanks for watching.